on. I love it when it starts with no sound. Anyway, hey, I'm Christine Gritman, and this is Social. I do this show I don't know what's going on with my sound today. Anyway, hey, I'm Christine Gritman. This is Social. I do this show every week where I bring on smart friends to talk about different topics in social media, small business, all that jazz. And this month is Twitter month. So we're kicking it off in style with tweeting goddess Samantha Kelly joining us all the way from Ireland. Hey, Samantha, how are you today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
I'm very surprised that I haven't had you on the show yet, honestly, because I've certainly been following you for years and years, and we've met at Social Media Marketing World before, and I'm
Can I tell
dying.
that story?
Oh,
Can I
go
tell that
for it.
story?
Go for it.
Because you were actually lovely. You came over to me, and I was actually having a bit of a lonely time. And
Yeah.
you came over and you said hello, and I was like, yay, somebody knows me.
Of course somebody knows you. You're the tweeting goddess. My goodness.
Oh, stop.
I
Yeah,
love
so
that. And I'm dying to come out, actually. You're in Ireland, and I have a lot of family in Ireland. I've been out there loads of times. So I'm dying to come out there sometime for one of your Women's Inspire Network events, which is a fantastic group. Can you tell us just about that for a moment?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the Women's Inspire Network I created because I felt a little bit lonely
Mm-hmm.
running my empire, building my empire from home. And I knew I wasn't the only woman in the world sitting there on my laptop in my box room, building my business. And I just said, I want to meet other women like me. And I used to go to networking events and I just sometimes I'd feel like, didn't get value,
It's hit
or
or
I'd
miss.
walk away and I was like, I don't know if it was relevant to me. So I decided I'd create my own network. So, and it's great because there's no bitches in it because the bitches don't like me. It's great.
Nope.
So, so it's nice. It's very nice. Demographic would be age 35 to 55, and we're all business owners. There's accountants, solicitors, social media experts, marketing experts, sales experts. It's really cool. But we also have a lot of yoga teachers, people in the wellness space, and it's just really, really nice because we help each other and support each other, and we do weekly webinars. So the COVID thing actually has been a kind of a blessing in disguise for us because we were already online. We were already networking online, and it's a global network now. So we've members from all over the world. It's fantastic. I love it.
I
Yeah.
love that. And speaking of supportive women, my friend Linda wants to join me. So, Linda,
Yay!
we're going to hop across the pond when we're allowed to again.
Yeah, well, you have to come to Wexford. I'll let you come and we'll walk together on the beach. So you always see my pictures going up on Twitter. You can come along with we'll bring the dogs out for a walk and I'll show you. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, it's a date, 2021. It's on.
Okay. Date. Fine. Done. Recorded.
All right, so you are tweeting goddess. I would love to hear how you started focusing on Twitter, why Twitter, and how you became tweeting goddess. And then we'll get into what that means, what you do, and what tips you have for everyone else. But how did this
Okay.
happen?
Well, it was kind of by accident. Look, to be honest, I don't really know how it happened. It actually started, I had a different business. I was a lone parent on welfare. I had no money, and one of my daughters, she got her first period, which was a really awkward milestone. So I went to the shop to see if there was some kind of gift set I could give her to, make her feel a bit nicer. And there were no starter sets for girls. And I thought, oh, that's not right. And my dad had just passed away, and my marriage had just broken up. So I was kind of in a headspace of, do you know what? You only live once. I'm just going to go for it. So I decided to create a business called Funky Goddess, and it
I
was a gift
love
box.
that.
Thank you. It was a gift box that a parent could give their daughter when she got to that awkward milestone. And it would have all the information and everything she needed. It even had a little eye mask that said Funky Goddess. It had a little hot water bottle for tummy aches, a little
Oh,
diary. It was really nice. Anyway, so I went and I started that, and I did loads of research on the internet, and I had I barely had a Facebook profile. And my sister,
what year
Roz,
was
she
this?
built, this was in 2011.
Hmm.
So my sister Roz built a website and everything, and then I didn't have any experience with business or anything, and she went, right, you need to go on Twitter. And I was like, Twitter? What's Twitter like? And she was like, no, you just start marketing your business on Twitter. And so I just went on Twitter, and then I started. You see, the girls would be in bed at nighttime, and I was kind of lonely, so I used to go online to Twitter, and I try and find people like me, like people who were starting a business, people who were in the same space, the facts of life type space, teenagers, that kind of stuff. And lone fathers were my biggest customers, actually.
Ah,
Yeah, which was
because it's something
interesting.
they
'Cause I
can
didn't.
do.
Yes, it's something they can do to be involved in some way, yeah. And a lot of separated parents, she'd go to her dad's for the weekend and then, and then it's like at least he'd have something there. So, yeah, it was a really, really nice story. And I started gathering stories. And that's when I saw the power of stories and I saw the power of Twitter. Because I had a friend who had three daughters. His wife had died and his three daughters were like just coming up to teens. And he was also a poet, so he was a beautiful writer. So I asked him, would he write me a little story about how that was for him? And I put it out on Twitter, and next thing, the TV channel started calling. Everybody wanted to interview him. So it
That's
was just that.
incredible.
Yeah, that's when I saw the power of Twitter. And I realized that a lot of journalists are watching all the time and they want to see good news stories. They want to see, they're looking for content. And then I also knew there were other women like me and men that were in business that we had to support each other. So I just started building relationships. I didn't know I was building relationships. I thought I was just chatting to people.
You're
But,
just being a person.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, and I just started learning as much as I could online, started learning more about Twitter to be better on Twitter. Twitter was just the one I loved the best. And that's really how I ended up specializing in it. And then when the business, I was getting loads of sales. So I was selling it all over the world, but I wasn't making money. And
Oh,
that's when I had to kind of sit down. I remember the fire, we were sitting by the fire, the open fire, and we hadn't got any more coal.
oh,
And I remember my daughters and I were sitting around the fire and I went, you know what, I can't do this anymore. And so I decided to shelve Funky Goddess. And a customer bought it off me. And she bought the company.
oh,
So she
wow.
got redundancy and she bought the company. So then I was like, oh, what'll I do now? And then this local hotel said, do you know, you were really good at this Twitter thing. Could you teach us how to use it? Or can you just take over our account? And I went, okay. And that's when I knew I had a new business. So then Tweeting Goddess was born. Yeah.
I love that. So when did you really launch as Tweeting Goddess?
Just when I got my first client, when I got my first customer, I said, right, I'm going to start doing this now. This is a way to make money and this is a business. And then,
But around what year was
so
that?
that was in 2016. Where are we? What are we now? Yeah, 2016. That'd be about right.
Oh,
What
so
day is
your
it? I don't
business
even
is
know what day it is.
your business is the same as age as my business then. I also started in 2016. Good year, good year.
It was a good year because things were starting to pick up everywhere,
Yeah.
weren't they? And yeah, so I just started learning from my peers, like yourself and other people we know together, like, people in social media, started learning from them. And then then I wrote a book, Tweet Your Way to Success. And then I wrote another book called The Little Book of Twitter Magic. But really, when it really started taking off for me was when I started believing in myself.
Hmm.
And I started actually saying, actually, I do know a lot of stuff. And I remember seeing a different speaker on the stage at an event I went to, and I went, I could do that. And
You
then I
sure
said, okay, I'm
could.
going to do that. So I just did it. And then I started speaking. And now I have a team of 4. And we have the Women's Inspire Network, which I created because I saw that gap. And I knew that there were other women like me that wanted to succeed and also wanted to celebrate each other's successes. I couldn't get over the amount of people that see someone soaring and doing well and then want to drag them back down. And I decided, you know what, I want to be around people that actually lift people up. And so I kind of made a decision to create my own network and an online network. And that's what I did. And now I have a team of 4. I've 5 actually. And so I don't manage accounts anymore. What I do is I teach people how to do it themselves. I'd much
Me
prefer to do
too.
that. So yeah, it's much nicer, isn't it? And then I can coach them, and then a lot of them would join my network as well. So it means they get a piece of me, but they're not getting all of me, but they're getting a piece of me. And the other people that want to do my 6-week program, they get a chance one-to-one with me, just all to themselves.
But
So
you're able to
yeah,
spread more of your Twitter magic around to more people, which is really key.
exactly.
I
Yes,
love that.
Twitter magic, it's funny that hashtag just came about. I think one of my followers said it once or something. It's like on my bio, I have nice people collector. I think someone said that to me before, and I just said, "Oh, I'm going to use that," And you learn things as you go along. Look, I've been learning everything as I go along, right? I'm
Hmm.
not going to say I like, you know. I'm probably there are other people who are better than me, but I know that people buy from people, so the people that like me will work with me, and that's the way it is.
Exactly. And I have to say the Twitter magic thing makes me think also of the show Bewitched, because the main character, who's a good witch, is named Samantha, and she's
And that's why
blonde.
my mother chose my
Yeah,
name.
I
That's
love
why
it.
she liked her. Yeah, the little witch. And it was so funny because some people say I look a bit like Nicole Kidman, and
I can
didn't
see
she
that.
do the Bewitched as well?
Oh
So she has my
yeah.
nose. She
That's
has
a
my
good
nose. People pay a
point.
fortune for that nose.
Tim
Oh,
Sohn
so it's
says
just
hello to both of us,
hello.
and my friend Linda says believing in yourself is a key component to everything. Absolutely right, Linda, and I
Yeah.
believe in you. And that's not just lip service. Linda knows me in real life, so she knows I believe in her.
Oh, well, Linda, if you're on Twitter, definitely. We're connected already, I think.
I think
Yeah,
so.
so Linda, you're right, because I think she did a tweet yesterday. Yeah. So see, that's another thing. Be aware, we all notice these things. We notice when people help us. We notice when people retweet. And I think on Twitter, a lot of people don't get that it's actually about people and how you make them feel. That's really what it's about. Yeah.
Yes, so let's move into talking about that because to your point, so the topic of today's discussion is about building that loyal, enthusiastic audience, and it can be
Mm,
a little disheartening to feel like you're tweeting into a void. If
mm.
you tweet and it feels like no one's responding, no one's conversing with you, it can be a little lonely. So let's talk about how we actually can build those audiences and communities so that we are all helping each other up, and it's not just tweeting out there and getting an echo back.
Yeah, well, the first thing I'd do is I'd encourage you to look at your bio first and say, right, would I follow me? So if you start following people, so start with following people you like already. So maybe start with following myself and Kristen, and
Yes.
just start there.
Follow
And then
Tweeting
it'll kind of
Goddess and C. Gritman.
there you go. And it'll filter out like a domino effect. So follow people that you know are probably going to follow you back. Follow people who are like-minded. Like you could follow Beyonce and Justin Bieber, yes, but chances are they're probably not going to follow you back and they're probably not going to engage with you. But if you follow other people who are just like yourself and people that you're interested in, so if you're interested in kite surfing, follow some kite surfers. Make it interesting for yourself. So follow other business owners that might be in the same niche as you, but really you want to get your customers. So you start following people who might be interesting customers and add them to a Twitter list. That's what I do. So I put them on a Twitter list. I have a Twitter list of cool people. I have a Twitter list of impressive females. And there are usually people that I like to follow and that I actually want to have a cup of tea with someday. So if I have someone on one of those lists, what I'll do is every morning I will actually go through and see, is there one of those people, do any of them need help today? Is there anything I can do to help this person? Can I retweet them? Can I engage with them? Like one lady, I noticed her father had passed away, so I was able to engage and say, I'm really sorry for your loss. But, I wouldn't have seen that if she wasn't on my list. So things like that. So I keep an eye on these people, my favorite people, and see what they're up to. My cool people list is definitely a list of people who I'd either want to work with or interview in the future or things like that.
I'm going to
And
go
it really
check out
does
your
work.
list.
Yeah, do. Yeah, and you can have locked lists as well. I wouldn't make a list of potential customers. Don't make that list, please. Don't.
Don't
That's the
call
worst thing
it that, at
to do.
least.
Yeah, call it something else, some code word or something. But yes, Twitter lists are great for that. Okay. So what I do is I do regularly use lists. But also, I get involved in Twitter chats like Twitter Smarter with Madeline.
Yes.
I've got the Women's Inspire Twitter chat, which is on at 10 p.m. Irish time Tuesday nights, and that's really nice chat. That's really good.
Oh, so it's 5 p.m.
Um,
Tuesday here. That's very doable. Let's
there
check
you
that
go.
out.
Women's Inspire. Yeah, it's on. It's actually, I think it's the same night that the other Twitter chat's on. Social ROI. I think it's the same night as that. Yeah, the same time and everything. So there'll just be a little crossover sometimes. So yeah, start taking part and start looking at the people that we're talking to. Like, look at the people I'm talking to. Most of the people I'm speaking to on Twitter are good people. You know. And if they're idiots, if you're an idiot offline, you're going to be an idiot online. So, most people that are following me are kind of cool. So yeah, it's just about start following people first, start engaging with them first, but also value. What are you going to talk about on Twitter? You need to have something. What value are you going to bring to the table? It's not about what Twitter can do for you. It's what can you do for Twitter and what can you do for your audience? So it's about thinking about, okay, well, what are people going through right now? We're all going through the pandemic. The protests are on. There's lots of stuff on that we're all experiencing and we're all worried about. So maybe could you speak about something like that? So what I did at the start of the pandemic was I did a tweet saying, look, my friend, he was self-isolating because he has an underlying illness. So I said, oh my God, I said, Ronan, that must be so lonely for you. So then I said, how can I help Ronan? So I did a tweet saying, look, there are lots of people self-isolating at the moment. If there's anything I can do for you, or if you want to reach out, maybe I can connect you with other people. And it went berserk. The tweet went viral, right? And it was just a simple tweet. But what it was is I was thinking of other people. I was doing something to help others. And it was genuine as well because I was trying to help Ronan, you know. But then someone else, Helen, came along, this lady Helen, and she's a BBC producer.
Oh.
And she said, yeah, and she said, actually, you know, maybe we should set up a hashtag for people that can help these people. Maybe we can get them medicine. Maybe we can walk the dogs. And so then the hashtag self-isolation help actually is a movement that's still going on if you search it
That's
on
incredible.
Twitter. Yeah.
So what
so
about Twitter? So all the social media platforms, of course, have conversation as a key component. They all, in theory anyway, have community as a key component. That's social in social media. What about Twitter really enables viral moments like that to happen, do you think?
I think it's because the latest news as it happens on Twitter. And I think if you're a leader and if you're innovative at all and you're keeping, you know, on top, your finger on the pulse of things. And this is why I always encourage CEOs to be on Twitter, because they can keep an eye on what's the latest news. I think with Twitter, it's the demographic as well, I think, right? So the demographic would be kind of 35 to 55. The highest growing demographic are the over 55s. My mom is 70 and she's on it, 72.
Yep, my dad's 76 and he's on it.
There, exactly.
Not as active, but he gets into conversation sometimes. He's a mathematician, and it's a way to keep his hand in on that conversation and to know what's going on in the world, too.
Exactly. And I think that is key because there's a lot of lonely people out there as well. Mm-hmm. And I think now on social media, this is the time to shine online. If you are on social media now, this is the time to show your leadership, show you are the expert in what you do, and start writing and or doing videos, and people will start to look forward to your videos and stuff, you know. So definitely I would say it's the demographic that makes the difference, because a lot of them are professional, urban, they're more likely to click by now as well. So I get most of my sales from my events through Twitter. Nice. I'm actually taking part in the social selling summit actually as well, so that might be some. I must talk to you about that afterwards. Actually, might have something for you. Ooh. So yeah, you see, I start thinking of how to connect the dots all the time. So the hashtag social selling summit, if you check that out, I'm speaking at that. But I think this is the great time for that because it's an online event. So anything like that is doing really well at the moment. So I think it's because people on Twitter have been through something, either grief, illness, divorce or something like that, and I think a lot of the people have been there, done that, and they just want a bit of entertainment, conversation, compassion, hope, you know, all of those lovely things. And I think from what I've noticed, definitely they've been there, done that, and they just want to hang out with good people.
I love that. And I love how everything that you've said has a strong start with caring element. How can you serve? How can you help? Now, I want to back up to something you said earlier, which is it starts with the bio and, you know, following the right people. How can you show that you're the right people? How can you show that you are a giver on Twitter? And for that matter, we talked about personal branding as well. How can you really convey who you are on Twitter in a way that's going to make people want to have you as part of those conversations?
Okay, if you think of 3 key words that describe what you do. Okay, so what are the 3 things you're known for? And ask your friends, ask your audience even, you know. And I actually have spreading Twitter magic. I don't know if you have my profile there, spreading Twitter magic everywhere. And then I put my stamp of authority. So I put my stamp of the owner of the Women's Inspire Network. And then I put nice people collector, which brings my personality in again.
Yes, it
And then I
does.
put my other stamp, I put my next stamp of authority saying, Twitter expert. And then I say TEDx speaker. So then everyone's like,
Mm.
oh, she's fun, she's approachable, but oh, she knows her stuff. And if you look at my profile photo, the headshot I got done, I went into the guy, John Murray is his name, brilliant photographer. And I went in and I said, look, I want to look like I'm approachable, and I want to look like that people can talk to me, and that I'm fun, and I'm a bit of mischief and a bit of a glint of mischief in my eye.
Little
But
twinkle.
I want to show that I know my stuff and that you can't mess with me. And he went, okay, and you should see my, like, if you look at my headshot, that's what I was trying to get across. And he did it. He did it perfectly.
I
Yeah.
love that.
So
Oh, I
make sure
should
you get
have
a
that
good
here at the ready.
headshot.
But
Yeah, it's
yes, that's a
really,
good
really
point.
important. Yeah, it's really important to get the headshot right. And the bio, put in your authority, like what it is you're the expert in. So that when people search, actually, I know I was in a conversation with Ryan Foland lately, and he has dynamic speaker in his profile. And someone searched on Google and found dynamic speaker on Twitter and found him on Twitter through Google
Hmm.
when they searched dynamic speaker. So just to be aware, it's a really good search engine as well.
Yeah, and
For
he's also a personal branding expert. I had him on to discuss his book a few months ago or last year, I guess. Um,
Yeah, and we made friends on Twitter. We connected on Twitter as well,
same,
So
same.
yeah.
Yeah, I've connected to a lot of people on Twitter, especially through conferences and things like that, which has been
Yeah.
really valuable. Which brings me to the next question, which is you mentioned going on and looking at your lists and seeing what other people are saying and how you can become a part of those conversations and help them out. How do you know what to post on Twitter? How do you know what conversations to start? What do you put out there as you instead of
I
just reacting?
yeah, I don't react so much. I actually I see, this is the leadership. This is where leadership comes in. Okay, how can you help someone today? What's going on? What I meant was, what's going on in the world today? So think about what's going on for you is probably going on for a lot of other people too. So if you're experiencing, a lot of people are financially suffering, I'm 12 years sober, so I know that a lot of people are struggling with
Yeah.
this pandemic, and that are drinking more and all of that stuff. So I talk about, and it's again, like Linda says, I didn't believe in myself as much before, but now I know that I add value. And that's a
Yes.
huge, huge, huge thing to discover about yourself. And and now I'm proud of myself. Whereas it took me ages to get to that stage. I was full of self-doubt, all of the normal stuff that everybody else has. So I know I've been there. And I think that helps me a lot, is the fact that I have been there and done that. And I have been no angel, and I have my demons, and I have my bad things I did and
You're
stuff, and I
human.
regret. We all have that, exactly. So I just treat people like humans. So if you can even make a post about today, I know today, okay, it's Friday evening here, for example. I'm going to go for a walk with my daughter. Well, she wants to bake cookies first, right? But then I'm going for a walk with my daughter, and I'm exhausted. The
Yep.
last thing I want to do is go for a walk, right? Or bake cookies. However, what's important to me is the work-life balance thing. So I have to walk the walk. And so when I'm out for a walk with my daughter, I will take a picture and I'll put it on Twitter, because it's important that people are following me and they are, learning from me. So if I have to walk the walk and do what I'm telling people to do. So there you go. That's so take the lead and be the leader.
That's
Yeah.
actually my next question, which is how do you work out that balance between personal and professional? Because on the one hand, people are in theory, mostly following you because you're the tweeting goddess. They want to know about Twitter, but at the same time, to your point, you do like to keep it human and show those bits
Yeah.
of your life because people are speaking to people. So how do you
Yeah.
watch that balance? I'm sure it's not an exact equation, but
Well, for example, my daughter doesn't like to be photographed, so I won't photograph her. I might photograph her from the back, that kind of thing,
yeah.
things like that.
Hmm.
I take more pictures of the dogs and the cat anyway. But it's like, but I know this, so it's about getting the balance. You mean how much I share? Is it? Is
Yes.
that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
And also
Well, the
your
reason I
content, because your audience, they're there for one thing, and if you're showing them another thing, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. So how do you?
I'll tell you how I know. I created a personal account once on Twitter called Samantha Kelly, right? And they all wanted tweeting at us. No one was interested in Samantha Kelly. Whereas they like the kind of balance that I have, which is the businessy thing, the sales. So okay, so let's say if you're on Twitter and you're watching this now, okay, and you're on Twitter and you're a business, what I would do is if you have, let's say if you were doing 10 tweets a day. So for some of my clients, I would have done 10 tweets a day. I do 2 in the early morning commute, 2 at one at coffee break, 1 at lunchtime. I don't really bother in the afternoon till about 9 o'clock at night. So, think about what you're doing. School run, after school activities, dinner. We don't have time to go on Twitter really, right? So think about afterwards, your customers are probably online between 9 and 11 p.m. when they're relaxing, watching TV or whatever. So what I try and do is I try and put the balance of maybe if I was doing 10 tweets a day, 3 out of those would be sales type tweets, as in buy now, book now, check out our event or whatever it is, right? Sending traffic to your website. The other 7 tweets are actually, you can have like the fluffy tweet about the cat, look at the cat, isn't he so funny or whatever. You can have the fluffy tweet about beautiful sunset, whatever. And then you can have ones that add value. So it could be tagging an article you wrote, for example, and I tag you and I say, I really like this article from Kristen, this kind of stuff. So I actually help others with the other tweets, so it's not all about me. So
I
adding
really
value.
like that because that's something people struggle with the most. They feel like if it's a professional account, they have to be all business, or they go too far
No.
the other way and they feel weird about selling. So it's kind of about finding the
Yeah.
right ratio for you.
Do you know, the funny thing is what you said there, getting the balance. I mean, the funny thing is people buy from people.
Yeah.
If there are 2 hardware stores where I can buy my paint, which we all want paint at the moment because my husband painted the whole garden during this lockdown. So if you have 2 hardware stores and one girl is always bitching and gossiping about the people up the road and the other girl behind the counter is always very helpful and smiles, I'm going to go to this one. So people buy from people. So I don't care what anyone says, that is what it comes down to. If the owner of a company is not a nice person, I'm not going to shop there. That's
So
the way it
even
comes
if it
down
is
to.
a company, so even if it is an account that is not built around a personal brand like you, and your account is you, it's Samantha. So even
Okay,
if something is, a
a
shop
bigger
or a
company. Yeah.
hotel or a restaurant or something like that. So incorporating some degree of personal branding into
Personality.
that as well.
Oh, 100%. Actually, I'll give you an example, right? So Justin Bieber, my daughter loved Justin Bieber. If anyone could retweet my pinned tweet, please, because I'm trying to get Justin Bieber to send her a message on her
He
21st,
he
right?
hangs
So,
out in my town sometimes because his wife is from around here. He's been to our local pizza place. They have pictures.
well, will you
I'll try to
please do
catch
me
him
a
next
favor?
time.
Yeah,
I'll try to catch
because I
him.
just wanted to say it would just make her day. Anyway,
I'll
besides
retweet.
that, yeah, that would be wonderful. It's my pin tweet. So yeah, so Justin Bieber, big fan, and we're trying to get tickets. So I went online to this phone company which gives you a special offer if you're a customer. So I was trying to get on and I went, oh, so I tweeted them and I said, look, I can't get online to buy the tickets. And in the meantime, my daughter's stressing me out going, please, mom, get the tickets or we're not going to get them.
Aw.
So I was like, oh no. So I tweeted to them and the girl with 3 Mobile said, actually, the tickets are on sale tomorrow, not today, right? And I was like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And she went, is it too late for me to say sorry? She said, and with little
Aw.
music notes. So she actually did the Justin Bieber
That's
song
so
in a tweet.
cute.
And I was like, I love that. And I said, oh my God, her name is Rachel. I've met her since
Oh,
because
wow.
I always talk about that tweet. And I always talk about how that tweet was such a great tweet to give me after, she had a personality. The company had a personality. So she dealt with the query and now I'm their biggest fan, and I'm still talking about it 6 years later.
I
So there you
love
go.
that. So even if your business is not connected to a singular person, you can still inject personality by relating to people on a more human level.
Actually, if you want to see an example,
Yeah?
the Dublin Airport Twitter account,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's the Dublin Airport Twitter account. They had a little kind of a tiff with the Heathrow Airport Twitter account. And like the Heathrow Airport Twitter account said, how you doing over there? And it's really fun, and that's like having a personality. It's just amazing, and you so can do that and you will stand out and people will buy from you.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Samantha.
You're
And
welcome.
now you have you don't just talk about things on Twitter. You also do teach. You have your larger Twitter
Yeah.
course that you've talked about, but you also have a Twitter workshop coming up right now. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's €25, so I think that's about $25. Is it? I'm not really sure, but it's on Monday. It's at lunchtime here, so I think that's about 8 a.m. your time. I'm not really sure. I think it's
Hmm.
8 a.m. your time. But anyway, it's on my Twitter. It's I'm doing it on Crowdcast because everyone's talking about Zoom, but I actually like Crowdcast for doing workshops, and it's 90 minutes, and I just had a really kind of good price because of the fact of COVID, and I know people are struggling. But my 6 step program is not just Twitter; it's LinkedIn, Twitter, video, content, creating content. It's everything if you want to shine online. So that's what I do as well. So, I'm trying to kind of diversify a little bit. And I didn't realize how much other stuff I knew. So just if anyone's watching this and they're not really sure about their niche, learn as much as you can about things that interest you. At the moment, what's really popular is online meetings like this, webinars. Create a little online workshop like I did. Like I charged €25 from it, but I had 30 people on it. So, there are ways of getting through this pandemic by being creative and being innovative. And if you have any queries or if there's anyone you want me to connect you with, just reach out to me on Twitter. I'm always happy to engage. You know that anyway. So, but thank you so much. Thanks for the
I
opportunity.
love
Oh yeah,
that.
if you want to join, actually, if anyone wants to join the Women's Inspire Network,
Ooh.
do that as well. That's great. That's
So
really good. We do weekly
tell us
webinars.
where we can find you, and where we can find Women's Inspire also.
At Tweeting Goddess on Twitter, and then the Women's Inspire Network is at Women's Inspire IE, women'sinspirenetwork.com. Like it's all about, we can connect. Like I'm sitting here in Rosslare Harbour in Ireland. You're sitting there, and like it's just amazing. Technology is amazing. So we don't have to be in the same room to make friends, to get to know each other, to become allies and support each other. We don't have to be in the same country. And this is what's lovely about online. So reach out, go global. You don't have to go just local anymore. Go global. Do it.
I love that so much. Thank you, Samantha. And to that
You're
end,
welcome.
actually, Twitter month is continuing here on social. And I realized that this month, none of my guests are in the United States, which is interesting. Next week, I have Dan Willis joining us from Canada. So, same continent, but, different country. And he's going to be talking about Twitter video. And later in the month, I
Oh,
have
yes.
Dan Knowlton from the UK.
I
And
love that.
yes,
Love that.
and then I have Making
Yeah.
Sang from the UK.
Yeah. There you
So
go.
it's a very
And all of
international
these
month here.
people, I know making as well. I mean, these are people that have kept in touch. They're walking the walk,
They are.
okay? And they're walking the walk, and that's what you want to do. You want to hang out with people who walk the walk because then, that's who you need to be hanging out with. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Samantha. I hope
You're
everyone will
welcome.
join us next week for some more Twitter conversation. Thanks very much. Bye.